What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the video in the Water Juice channel. Welcome back to episode number 8 of the Cleveland Browns retro rebuild here on Madden 21 on the PC. That is right. We are back. And if you guys missed last episode, you are going to definitely... I know I say this about a lot of my videos, but this one in particular... Pause this video, come back to it after you go watch last episode, episode number 7, because it is the greatest video I have ever recorded. And I've recorded a lot of videos in my time, and this video is probably the best video I've ever done. It's made me the most happy. It's outstanding. Just go back and watch it. Pause this video, go watch it, come back to this video after you get it done. I don't want to spoil it until you do that, so I'll give you 3 seconds to do it before we get into the video. But I'll make sure to remind you to smash that like button, notification bell, and the subscription button as well. Join the Juice Club. That should be enough time for you to go pause the video. Let's get into it and see what I'm talking about. All right, here we are. And as you can see in the top left of your screen, the Cleveland Browns are Super Bowl champions. That is correct. We are Super Bowl champions. Oh yeah, we're Super Bowl champions. That's right. We did it, boys. We did it. We won a Lombardi. It took us 3 seasons to do it. 3, count them, 3 seasons to do it. And now we're in the off season. We got some big choices to make, some big decisions that are going to affect the team, starting with player negotiations. We only have 1 franchise tag, and we can use it on our quarterback, the Super Bowl winning quarterback, the man that led us to a, what record do we have? Is it going to tell me what record we had? What was our record? To an 11-5 record. A man that took us to back-to-back AFC Championship games, and a man that won a Super Bowl for us. Jamarcus Russell. Do we franchise tag Jamarcus? Because he is asking for $50 million. $50 million is a fair, that's just a fair offer. We may even have to pay a little bit more for him. But I think what we do is we franchise tag Jamarcus. We keep him around for another season. We draft a quarterback in the draft this year, and then we see what we do next season. I think he's earned another year, but I don't know if he's exactly earned a big time, like Hall of Fame style quarterback money. I don't know if he's earned that. So we're going to franchise tag him. Franchise tagging this player will assign him to a 1-year, $28.7 million contract. Are you certain you wish to tag this player? I am certain. Franchise tag Jamarcus Russell. He is our quarterback 1 more year. He's getting paid $28.7 million this season. That's a big decision, but now we get to go to retirements. Obviously, we're going to have a lot of retirements because we had a lot of older players that I signed in free agency. So we've got Torrey Holt, Maurice Williams, Ray Lewis, Todd McClure, Steve Hyden. All those guys retire from our team, which is fine. They weren't really major components to our roster, except for maybe Ray Lewis because he kind of came up big in the AFC Championship game. As for the team we beat in the Super Bowl, Neil Rackers, Mike Peterson, and John Abraham all retire from the league, which is pretty surprising, but they all do, from the Falcons. Anybody else of note? Orlando Pace, he made a Pro Bowl in this past season, and then he goes and retires. Jeremiah Trotter, Keith Bullock, Fred Jackson, Champ Bailey, Brian Westbrook, who we did have, but I traded. Randy Moss retires. Dante Culpepper. Anybody else? Chad Ochocinco retires from the Bengals. Will Allen. Anybody else? Deion Branch, Jake Delhomme, or as I like to call him, Jake Delhomme. Julius Thomas, Desmond Clark, Daryl Jackson, Lamont Jordan, Mike Sellers. Nobody else. Adam Archuleta is kind of a big one. He's at least a name. No head coaches retire. And now we get to move on to free agency. So hopefully, I think we should have around 30-something million to spend. I guess we'll have to find out when we get there. But before that, let me check and see if anybody wants Sean Rogers, because we're obviously not going to bring him back. But can we end up getting at least something for him? He's 33. A lot of people have some interest in him, so we may be able to get a draft pick back for Sean Rogers, which would be pretty cool. The first-round pick's not going to happen from the Cowboys, but we could trade him to the Niners for a late first-round pick. I don't want to trade that. The Panthers, they were pretty bad. They got the 12th pick. The Raiders, what do the Raiders have? The Raiders have the 10th pick. We obviously have the... What pick do we have? We have the first overall pick and the 32nd overall pick from obviously ours, and then the who am I thinking of? Seahawks. The Seahawks we traded. So if we trade this pick with Sean Rogers, could we get Terrell Suggs? Is that an option? I would like to have Terrell Suggs. You know what? That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Is Terrell Suggs really the move? Okay, good. I'm glad that didn't go through. I don't think it's going to go through. But let's see if we can get this 5th overall pick from the Ravens. We would probably have to give up one of our other picks that we have, one of our many other picks that we have. I'll go with this 4th round pick, so we'll add that to the deal. That is a yellow. I will add this 3rd round pick and take away the 4th round pick. That gets it into the green, and with one more pick, that should give us another 1st round pick. I'll add in this 4th round pick from next year. That's declined. It's probably going to take another pick this year. Probably going to take a 4th rounder. Yeah, it's going to take that 4th rounder that we have to get this pick. Let's do it. Sean Rogers, a 3rd round pick and a 4th round pick to get the 5th overall pick. We weren't going to use Sean Rogers anyway. He was going to leave, so we might as well get something for him. Who else do we have to negotiate? Nobody else here that I really want to keep. I guess we could try and trade Steinbach and see if we could get some picks for him before we move on. And this is how you rebuild a team. This is how you cheese Madden to rebuild a team. You do stuff like this so that you can get as many picks as possible. Some people may consider it cheating. I just consider it abusing the system because this is how they have it. So, I mean, if they have it in the game, then it's fair play. So that's why I don't consider it cheating. Let's try and get a 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick from the Seattle Seahawks. They will not do that, but the Broncos are interested. Let's see if we can get a 3rd round pick from the Broncos. We can, so we get a 3rd round pick back from the Broncos thanks to Steinbeck. And now we can officially move on. We have money and we have draft picks. All right, $29 million is what we have to work with here. It's not a lot of money, but it is enough to get some role players. We need another running back. And who are we looking at here that could be a nice running back to keep us around here? Jonathan Stewart's got a lot of offers. Actually, he doesn't have that many offers, but he is asking for a lot of money. So is Rashad Mendenhall. Felix Jones is the same age as these guys. He's an 82 overall. Willis McGahee. I'll put a bid in for Willis McGahee. I won't go crazy. I'll go like a 2-year deal. We'll give him a kind of a little bit of a deal. He's a little bit older, so we'll give him $6 million over 2 years. See if he accepts that. If he doesn't, that's fine. As for wide receivers, we don't really need any wide receivers. We obviously... oh, did we lose... Steve Smith. Do we not have Steve Smith on our team anymore? Did he retire? Oh no, he just went down to 82 overall. Okay, I got a little bit worried there. I was gonna say, like, did I forget to sign him or something? But he's still on the team. So, is there anybody here? There's not really anybody here that I need to bring to the team that would really help us. I mean, Jason Avant would help us a little bit, but he's got some offers. He's not really worth it. As for tight end, we do need to bring in a tight end. And I wouldn't be mad at, like, a Ben Watson. I do love Ben Watson as a player. He is one of my favorite tight ends of all time. And I think if we lowball him, he'll accept $7.5 million for a year. Let's see what he says about that. Left tackle, we don't need. We could use a backup. But other than that, I think if we go with a guy like Andre Smith, it should be fine. If we bring it down to about $4.5 million. We need a left guard, which is what we're going to be looking at in the draft. Some sort of guard, either a right guard or a left guard. We're going to be looking at that. Center, we don't need a starting center, but we could do with a backup center. Right guard, we have 0 right guards, so we're definitely going to have to sign somebody here. It doesn't really matter who it is, I don't think. I guess we could bring back Roberto Garza. We had him here a couple of seasons ago, and then we let him walk. But we could bring him back again for $2 million. He should accept that. He has no other offers. I don't see why he wouldn't accept that. Right tackle, I think we're fine on right tackle unless we get somebody in the draft. Defensive end, nobody here that I'm really, like, I really need. I don't need any of these guys. Defensive tackle, I could sign somebody here. I probably should sign somebody here to fill out our roster. But who is that going to be? Is it going to be maybe like a Wendell Bryant, who's a little bit older? Or is it going to be Johnny Jolly, who we had a chance at bringing back? Maybe a Senderick Marks. I've always liked Senderick Marks. I feel like he's a little bit of an underrated kind of player. Maybe he would accept a deal to come play for the defending Super Bowl champions. Let's see if he accepts that. As for the right end spot, Michael Bennett is 26 with no offers. I could put him at defensive tackle. I know I had him in Miami at defensive tackle, but I mean, it's such an easy thing to do. He's only 26 years old. He's not expensive, and it can't hurt to have him on the team. As for linebackers, I could do with an outside linebacker to help with the backup for Justin Houston. Gerard Mayo is obviously going to have so many offers because he's 26 years old and he's 86 overall. Bobby Carpenter's got no bids. He is a little bit on the older side at 29, but he could be a nice depth piece for us. I wouldn't be mad at having good old Bobby Carpenter. James Harrison. Ooh. Why don't we just bring in all the older guys to the team? I mean, we had Ray Lewis last year. Why don't we bring in James Harrison this year? That's cool. Let's get this down to about $2 million for a year. Let's see what he says about that. Corner, we are completely good on corner. We don't need any corners. Safeties, we are good on safeties, especially if I draft one this year. And strong safeties, I'm looking at targeting Harrison Smith, so I don't think we need anybody here. And then kicker, we're good, and punter, we're fine with. So my negotiations are Willis McGahee, Bobby Carpenter, James Harrison, Ben Watson, Michael Bennett, Andre Smith, Senderick Marks, and Roberto Garza as some depth pieces. Quarterback, I don't need to bring in a quarterback because we have Jamarcus Russell and Colin Kaepernick, plus if we take a quarterback this year. So yeah, that's what we're looking like. That is what our first wave of free agency negotiations are looking like. Hopefully a lot of these guys sign. I'm assuming that some of the guys like Bobby Carpenter or Willis McGahee, guys the higher overall, I'm assuming they will not sign, and then they will get better offers in free agency wave 2. So we probably won't get those guys. But if we can get some of the offensive linemen, that would be pretty useful. All right, so we only got Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett is the only guy to commit to our team. Let's see what's that looking like now. So we're not going to get Willis McGahee. Not going to get Bobby Carpenter. James Harrison's still an option. Ben Watson, no. All these guys are still an option. They just haven't decided yet. So we have $18 million to work with, and we need to work on... Who did I just take out? We need to work on running back. We need to look at a running back who... Jerome Harrison, Beanie Wells. We had Beanie Wells, didn't we? I'm pretty sure we did. Lendell White. Justin Forsett. I had Justin Forsett too, but I let him walk. Beanie's younger. He's more expensive, but I'll bring Beanie back. I love a good Buckeye. I can't let a Buckeye sit in free agency like that. Gotta bring him back. So we'll bring him back on $5 million over 4 years to make it seem like we're paying him a lot of money, but we're actually not. As for tight end, we didn't get Ben Watson. He's not going to come to us. He's going to go to Buffalo probably. So is there anybody down here that would be willing to come here? Zach Miller, 27. Algie Crumpler. I do like me some Algie Crumpler. But I also like Zach Miller. I wouldn't be mad at bringing Zach Miller in. I think he's a very solid player. Let's bring him in, see what he's looking at, and then I'll simulate to the next week, and then we'll see. Actually, there's a new retirement here. Mark Colombo has retired from the league. But I'll simulate here. Hopefully we get a little bit more of those guys. Hopefully they make up their minds. I really hope that they choose us. All right, so Roberto Garza and Andre Smith both accept their contracts, so that's some good bench pieces for linemen, some good depth. James Harrison still hasn't decided yet. We're not going to get Beanie Wells, not going to get Senderick Marks, but Zach Miller still has an option. Hopefully James Harrison accepts this offer. I mean, he's old and he's got no other offers. But let's go to defensive tackle and look and see if there's anybody else. I guess we could go get Johnny Jolly again. I wouldn't be mad at having him back. I just didn't really want to pay him the money he was asking for. So let's bump this down a whole lot to get that about $3 million. I'd be willing to pay that. Who was the other guy that I said we weren't going to be able to get that I pulled out from? I can't remember who it was. It was a linebacker, wasn't it? I don't remember. I do not remember who it was. I just got rid of my offer for. That's too bad. Was it? It was a running back. It was Beanie. It was Beanie. So we're not going to get Beanie. Clinton Portis? I wouldn't be mad at having Clinton. He's a little bit older, but sure. Come to the team. All right, so we get Zach Miller. He decides to finally come. James Harrison finally accepts. Clinton Portis accepts, and Johnny Jolly accepts. So we got all of the guys that we were asking for, and now we have some nice depth. All right, so a little bit of free agency recap here before we start the draft. We got James Harrison, Michael Bennett, Andre Smith, Roberto Garza, Johnny Jolly, Clinton Portis, and Zach Miller, all to be depth pieces for us, which is perfect. Exactly what you want. As for the rest of the league, John Henderson goes to the Jets, Chris Jenkins to the Vikings, Jonathan Stewart to the Panthers, Rashad Mendenhall to the football team, Gerard Mayo to the Lions, Jake Long to the Raiders, Felix Jones, Falcons, Willis McGahee to the Texans, Tim Hightower, Steelers. This really wasn't that great of a free agency class. David Gerard to the Chiefs, Pat McAfee to the Steelers, Sullivan to the Lions, Bobby Carpenter to the Bucks, Ben Watson to the Bills, Beanie Wells to the Steelers, Donovan McNabb to the Vikings. So not the greatest free agency class, but we got what we needed here. And now it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for, the NFL draft, where we have the #1 pick and the 5th overall pick. Let's start drafting here.
The Browns are now on
oh baby, this is the first time in our history that we've had the first overall pick. We had the second overall pick last year. So let me get into drafting mode here. Let me focus up a little bit here. Who do we take with the first overall pick in the draft? Now, since this is paused, let me take a look at our roster real quick. Let me just take a glance at the roster. So we've already committed $28 million to Jamarcus Russell. You guys saw that. We franchise tagged him. What do we do about quarterback? I don't know. I don't know what we do about the quarterback spot. Let me take a look at the roster this way. So we've already got Jamarcus Russell. But do we take Andrew Luck and then just move on from Jamarcus? I don't know if we should do that or not. It doesn't really feel right to me. We do need a wide receiver because currently we only have 4 of them because these guys are all nothing. So we currently only have 4 wide receivers. Tight end, we have 2. And the wide receiver class isn't that great this year. But what are we looking at, like, middle linebacker? Because Luke Kuechly's there. DeQuell Jackson is 80 overall at 28. He's a little bit on the older side, especially since he is not as high overall as Kamarion Wimbley is. Because he is 28 as well, but he's also 89 overall. DeQuell Jackson, on the other hand, is 80 overall at 28. So they're both 28 years old, but DeQuell Jackson is losing his value. So there is one guy at middle linebacker in this draft that I have seen that could change the game for us, and that being Luke Kuechly. Now, in the past, in the Dolphins series, I drafted both of these guys. I drafted Luke Kuechly and Bobby Wagner, and they played linebacker for me. Now, I don't know if that's a smart move to do here because we don't have a lot of options. We have a lot of draft picks. Look at all those draft picks that we have. We have 3 first-round picks. These guys, at least Luke Kuechly, will not be here when we come up. I don't assume Luke Kuechly will be here when we get the 5th pick. He may. I assume that Andrew Luck will be gone as well. 4,340 from Robert Griffin III. That's crazy. I kind of want to take Robert Griffin, not with the first pick, but I kind of want to take Robert Griffin III and have him as the backup to Jamarcus. But then we've got Andrew Luck, who we know is going to be good. We know Andrew Luck's going to be good. There's really no wide receiver here that I would be taking in the first round. Tight end, no. I wouldn't take Matt Khalil with the first overall pick. That is for sure. No offensive lineman. It's really just down to either one of the quarterback, well, either Andrew Luck, one of these corners, or one of these linebackers. And I don't know what I want to do. Do I want to shake things up and get somebody new, or do I just want to draft for best available? I think I want to just draft for best available. And we didn't get Von Miller last season in the draft, which kind of hurts. We had to get Justin Houston, Justin Houston's a very good player. He's no Von Miller, though. And we need a middle linebacker, because then we could possibly trade DeQuell Jackson for something else. Kuechly and Bobby Wagner. But then Andrew Luck's here as well. He has good stats across the board, but so does RG3. And we got Jamarcus already. Oh, this is tough. This is very, very tough. A very, very tough choice to make. Plus, you got a guy like Stephon Gilmore, who could be very good for us as our number 1 corner. Morris Claiborne could also be very good for us. Drake Kirkpatrick. Luke Kuechly. Is he the guy? Is he the guy to anchor our middle linebacker spot for the future? Or is it a guy like Bobby Wagner? Or do we take both? I think we take Kuechly. Let's take Luke Kuechly with the first overall pick in the draft. He's an 80 overall with hidden. That is fantastic. I think it was a good move to take Luke Kuechly. He's ranked number 1 in true value, and we drafted him at number 1. So, okay. So who's gone now? Morris Claiborne. I don't know why I always say Maurice. Morris Claiborne's gone. Andrew Luck went to. Who else got taken? Bobby Wagner's still here. Gilmore's still here, which I'm looking strong at. Anybody else go notable that I can see? Matt Khalil went. Who else went? RG3 is still here. I'm kind of banking that RG3 will be here with the 32nd pick. But I don't know if he will be. I mean, there's still Russell Wilson, obviously. But I really think we need to take Stephon Gilmore here. I think it's the best option for us. We need another corner that's like a stud alongside Devin McCourty. So Stephon Gilmore is the move. 77 with hidden. He's ranked 3rd in true value. We got him at number 5. So with the 32nd pick, Bobby Wagner goes the pick before us. Wow, okay, so that makes my job easier. RG3 is still there, so we could take RG3 with this pick. Who else is here? Justin Blackman ended up going. I wish it wouldn't just simulate to my next pick. I wish it would let me see who's going where. I kind of want to take RG3 to be that backup quarterback. Although we need a left guard, we need a guard, and Kelechi Osemele's here as well. I mean, Russell Wilson's here, and it's Russell F. and Wilson, but RG3, I've always liked RG3. I liked him out of college. Let's take RG3. He's a 68 with hidden, so it's a bit of a miss at first round, but I mean, it's RG3. We can see what he does. It can't hurt us to take him. Pick player. We're in the 2nd round now. Russell Wilson's still here. The wide receivers are starting to go a little bit. Both the right guards are gone. Brandon Brooks and Kelechi Osemele are both gone. Kind of upsetting. Akeem Hicks is still here. There's some good corners still left. Harrison Smith is there. 2nd round pick. What are we thinking? Are we thinking Akeem Hicks? Are we thinking Akeem Hicks at D tackle? Trent Richardson's gone. I think the best option is Akeem Hicks, right? He looks solid. He's a good player. Let's take Akeem Hicks. We need a defensive tackle. He's 71 with hidden. And now we've got the 4th pick in the 3rd round. We've also got the 14th pick in the 3rd round. We've got a quarterback. We don't have a running back, but there's still some decent running backs down here that we've scouted. I mean, that we could take. Wide receiver, T.Y. is still here. Tight end is going to be rough. Right guard, David DeCastro, J.R. Sweezy. I'm feeling that we take Harrison Smith, because I said in the pre-draft stuff that I was targeting Harrison Smith. I know he's projected undrafted, but I really want to have him on the team. Harrison Smith is on the squad. So now we have our strong safety of the future. We have our middle linebacker of the future. We have our corner of the future. We have our defensive tackle, hopefully, of the future. And now I think we focus on maybe a wide receiver. T.Y. Hilton does get drafted, which is fine. I mean, Josh Gordon is down here still, I think, right? Yeah, there's Josh Gordon. He's projected to go undrafted, which is fine. I mean, there's a guy like Marvin Jones who we could take. We could probably wait a little bit longer on that. Tight end is going to be rough because I don't know. I don't want any of these guys, really. I think we take a guard now. I think I take David DeCastro, right? Maybe Malik Jackson? No, David DeCastro. David DeCastro. 74 with hidden. Now we have the 24th pick. And that is where we take a guy like Chandler Jones, maybe? Kevin Zeitler. Let's take Chandler Jones. And then with our next pick, if Kevin Zeitler's still there, we'll take him. We don't have a lot of picks left, so we got to start. Yeah, Kevin Zeitler's still here, so we'll take Kevin Zeitler. And then our next pick, we might start having to trade these picks to get some picks next year. Running back, I can find a running back. Tight end, I can probably find a tight end somewhere. We've got our guards. Dante Hightower, Levante David. Ooh. There's some decent guys here. There are some decent guys still left. Let's take Levante. Right? Or Dante. Let's take Levante. And then we'll come back. If Dante's Hightower is still there, we'll take him. I don't assume that he will be. But if he's still here, he is not. Alright. I probably should have taken Hightower first. Because Levante David probably still would have been there. But that's fine. We didn't need Dante Hightower. It would have just been nice to have. Now, running back, I can find a running back. Let's trade these picks. Let's trade these picks, see if we can get something for them. We've had a very solid draft here. People are giving me 4th round picks. I will surely take a 4th round pick, football team. Thank you so much for that. Skip to the next user pick. We will trade this pick. Nick Perry ended up being a 70. Is anybody else willing to give me a 4th round pick or just 5th rounders? Looks like just 5th round picks. So I will gladly take this Dolphins 5th round pick. Thank you, Miami. We will skip to next user pick. And it is us at Mr. Irrelevant. I'll take one more look around the board and see if there's anybody that I would be willing to spend this pick on. I mean, Josh Gordon, if he's still here, he is still here. He may end up being in free agency, so I don't know. I don't think there's anybody else that I need to spend this pick on. Not a free safety. No kicker, no punter. Let's just trade this pick. We don't need to spend it on Mr. Irrelevant when we can get like a 6th round pick or something for it. And who's willing to give me? Let's give it to the football team again. So who is Mr. Irrelevant? It was Lucas Nix, I think is what his name said. And I think this is a very successful draft. I like this draft. I like everybody that we got. We got solid middle linebacker Luke Kuechly, solid corner in Stephon Gilmore, a project in Robert Griffin III, but I mean, we already have Jamarcus Russell, so it'll work out. Then we got Akeem Hicks, solid. Harrison Smith, solid. David Castro, solid. Chandler Jones, solid. Kevin Zeitler, solid. And Levante David, solid. So I like this draft a lot. It's probably one of my favorite drafts that we've ever done. And now we can look forward to the future where we can get rid of Brian Hoyer. We can probably sign a wide receiver and running back in free agency. Sign a tight end in free agency. Probably trade. Let's just cut you right now because you definitely aren't making the team. So let's just cut you right now. Move Michael Bennett to defensive tackle. Edit player. He's a 71 right now. So let's see what he becomes as a defensive tackle. If it goes down or if it goes up or if it stays the same, he is now a 73. I think he was a 73 is what I meant to say at the beginning. So that's a solid defensive tackle spot. That's a good defensive end spot. I may end up moving Chandler Jones to to edge rusher. Like this guy, cut him because he's definitely not making the team. I may end up moving Chandler Jones to right outside linebacker, and then maybe we move on from Cameron Wimbley. Corner, I'm loving our corner spot right now. It is looking delicious. It is looking juicy. It is looking tasty, crispy, every word. We've got Devin McCourty and Eric Wright, Brandon Browner, who we may end up having to move on from because he is 28 and only 81 overall. So he's kind of getting up there in age, and he's also losing a little bit of that overall. We've got Sherm, we've got Gilmore, and we've got Chris Harris. So we've got 3, 4, 5 guys that I'm really confident in. And then we've also got Brandon Browner, who could be a trade piece. Plus, we got guys like Jason McCourty and Glover Quinn, who we had on the practice squad, that we could also either commit to or use as trade pieces. As for the free safety spot, Earl Thomas is good. And strong safety, we've got Harrison Smith, Rashad Jones, and Brodney Poole, who we could also maybe trade Brodney Poole and then promote Harrison Smith to starter. And then watch, that's a nasty safety. That's a nasty safety core right there. Harrison Smith and Earl Thomas, that's nasty. We've got good kicker, good punter. I'm loving this team right now. I hope you guys are too. Make sure to smash that like button, hit the notification bell, hit the subscription button as well. Next time we will be in week 3 of the 2012 regular season. You will see the 2013 draft class. Obviously, we know that draft class is not that great, but it is what it is. We'll have to figure out what we want to do in that. But that's going to do it for this video. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!